The story starts in Cancun, Mexico. The sun was shining beautifully, and I was so happy swimming in the salty ocean until I felt a stab in my throat. I thought someone was trying to murder me. It happened to be murdered by a jellyfish, and I still have marks here from the jellyfish. After the most painful sting I had in my life, first aid came and they sprayed me with vinegar. Just in case that happens to you, that's what you have to do. After 1 hour, I was fine, like nothing happened. The bubble was gone. So my partner and I decided to celebrate life. So we went to the pool bar and had one refreshing sweet pineapple cocktail, then another, and who knows how many we had at the end of the day. And the next thing I remember is waking up in the hotel bedroom, feeling confused, feeling actually ashamed too. I am a memory champion. How can I not remember what happened to me? And then I thought, well, is this what patients feel like when they have dementia and Alzheimer's disease? Confused, lost, anxious, but only 1,000 times worse. What about those, the family members, the friends around them? If you looked at your mother and she tells you, I don't know who you are, young man, doesn't that hurt? The pain is excruciating emotionally for all parties. I'm here today to invite you to solve this problem together with me. Periodontal disease and Alzheimer's disease. What's the relationship? Are you in with me? So, dementia is an umbrella term for loss of brain function, the higher functions such as speech and memory. Alzheimer's disease is one of the cause of dementia. And Alzheimer's disease affects about 6 million people in the United States, and it is the 6th leading cause of death. That's even higher than actually breast cancer and prostate cancer. Isn't that fascinating? And I have here a brain in my hand. Now, your brain looks just like this. About the same size, it weighs about 3 pounds. It's not plastic, it's made of fat and neurons. You have about 100 billion with the B neurons. That's more than the stars of the entire galaxy. Those neurons need to be tightly connected. And then in the brain, on each side, you have this little processing center that is called the hippocampus. But it is a mega processing center. That's how you're going to form long-term memory. Now, in the brain of patients who have Alzheimer's disease, they found plaque in between those neural connections. Now, let's talk about what a neuron looks like. It looks like the jellyfish in my story, actually, with the body, and it has like tentacles. The tentacles are like the dendrites in the neurons. So if you think about it, no connection, no memory. They also found in the brain of the Alzheimer's disease patient that the hippocampus, the memory processing center, has been damaged. Now let's go back to our original question. Periodontal disease and Alzheimer's disease, what is their relationship? It's easy to understand that when you have a patient who has Alzheimer's disease, they're going to forget how to brush. Or they're just going to forget how to brush. So periodontal disease, of course, that's going to happen. Then, what about the opposite? When you have periodontal disease, does that cause Alzheimer's disease? So let's really start our investigation over here. So the clue that scientists has found, the prime suspect is already here. It is called P. gingivalis. P. gingivalis, abbreviated as PG, is part of the red complex, right? Remember periodontology? With TD and TF, they're part of the red complex related to periodontal disease. Now, this prime suspect, PG, has been found, of course, in the mouth, but also in large quantity in the brain in patients diseased with Alzheimer's disease. Here's our first clue. But having this bacteria in your brain and the byproduct doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. Because if you think about manure, if you step on it, that's bad. But if you give that to the soil that's going to grow your tomatoes, you're going to have beautiful tomatoes. So scientists did this. They give the mice that was infected by PG in the mouth and the brain a solution, and that reduced the byproduct made by PG, and that reduced the damage in the hippocampus. Here's our second clue. The third clue lies in the inflammatory process. When you have a disease, periodontal disease, there's a whole cascade of inflammatory process that happens. There's warriors, molecules that come and fight for you. But at the same time, it leaves a whole lot of destruction. It's like a sprinkler in your apartment. When there's fire, yes, the sprinkler is going to help, but also you're left with a flood. So there's one molecule that is called interleukin, IL, that's also found in large quantity in the brain of the diseased patient affected by Alzheimer's disease, mingling with the plaque that we talked about in the brain of those affected by Alzheimer's disease. So here's our third clue. Now, let's ask this question. Is periodontal disease a risk factor for Alzheimer's disease? It's pointing towards yes. So as you can see, we went through 3 clues, and we can kind of find this connection now. But know that I'm not saying causes, because science is not there yet. We cannot say periodontal disease causes Alzheimer's disease. We would not be good scientists or dental professional if we said causes. In fact, the major factor contributing to Alzheimer's disease is this gene that is called APOE4. APOE4, only 17% of us have it. But wait, now scientists are thinking that periodontal disease and PG is going to affect that gene, potentially causing more brain damage. That is our 4th clue. So let's go back to our first question. Periodontal disease and Alzheimer's, what's the relationship? Now we have a much stronger idea that they are connected and they cause each other. Well, not cause, as I said, but they can be risk factor for each other. Congratulations, we have arrived at the end of our investigation. So now what are we going to do with this information? Are we just going to keep it to ourselves? No, let's repeat it. Let's share it with our patients. 6P, that there are 6 million people affected by Alzheimer's disease. It's the 6th leading cause of death in the United States, and it is linked to PG, that is found in your mouth and also found in large quantity in your brain. Because the whole process of inflammation is going to also affect your brain, and science is only getting stronger and stronger on those conclusions, and science of the brain has also exploded simultaneously within the past 20 years. So you bet we're going to see more and more research on this. So let's share the story. Let's be curious as well, because at the end of the day, when we lost our youth, our beauty, our health, and our wealth, the only thing that's left is our beautiful memories and experiences. Thank you.